Well, hello boys and girls, it's Mr. Bob back with you again for another exciting art lesson. Today's art lesson deals with creative reuse. Creative reuse is a term that we use for basically taking something old and making it into something new and interesting. And today we're going to use old magazine pages, and we will transform these old magazine pages that would otherwise just get thrown away into a very neat paper bowl that looks something like this. Now, let's go over some of the supplies that we will need. First of all, we're going to have to cover our table. And to do that, I just basically cut a brown paper bag and laid it out on the table so I won't make a mess on my dining room table. We'll also need those magazine pages that I was talking about, and what I do is cut them out first and set them aside so when I start doing the project it'll go a lot smoother. We'll also need some kind of tape. I'm using invisible tape for this, but if you have masking tape, that will work just fine. Now, you can prepare the tape ahead of time too, and I recommend it by cutting very small little pieces like this and just putting them on the outside so you can peel them off as you go. And I'll set aside the tape for right now too until I need it. Finally, we need a little cup, some school glue. I'm using Elmer's glue, but you can use whatever you have around the house, and a brush as well. Now, I mixed this already. I mixed a little bit of the school glue with just a few drops of water, and the water will thin the glue down and make it work a lot better. Mix that mixture up very well, and then you can set that aside until you need it. So, let's get started. We are going to start with an individual page, and there is a correct way to fold this. We don't want to fold it this way. We actually want to tilt our magazine page sideways and start our fold at an angle, just like that. Work on a flat surface when you fold. We're basically going to fold and flatten, fold and flatten. So I'm going to lay it down and just continue to do this. Now, when you make your folded pages, you want to try to make them all about the same size, but you don't necessarily have to measure them. Just try your best to get them about the same size. And it just takes a few seconds, and we have our first one done. Now, you will find that there'll be a little triangle left over, and so it won't unravel. We'll just take one of our little pieces of tape, put it on that fold, and secure it. Make sure that it's good and flat. I'd make a bunch of them and set them aside. Now, those pieces are all going to have to come together. So, you will notice that the ends will just slide together like that. If they don't, just flip them around and secure them. Now, we'll also have to tape the ends so they don't come apart like that. That'll make it a lot stronger. You will determine how long your paper tubes will be. For this one, I think that I will do 3. For a bigger project, you're going to have a lot more. And that's what it looks like. So we will have to now start at one end and roll them. Please don't get frustrated if it comes unwound the first time. You'll get the knack of it. And I'm going to set this down so I have a flat surface, a better surface to work at. I know that you can't see what I'm doing, but you'll get the idea. Now again, for a larger project, you will need more sheets of paper. Then you'll have a roll that looks something like this. So we'll take another piece of tape and we will secure the end. Now, this isn't very big and it's not going to make a very big bowl. So in preparation, I made some larger ones that look like this. Now that still doesn't look like a bowl. We still have to work on it. We'll now have to shape it into the bowl. And we'll do that by putting our fingers on the inside and just gently pushing it out until it looks like a hat. And you can actually, if you would like, hold it with one hand and push it and sort of turn it as you go so that it comes out evenly. And that will be the result. A nice little bowl that you could put change in, or paper clips, marbles, anything you want to store in it. Or if you just want to set it on your dresser or someplace as a little work of art. Now, if you apply pressure to it, it will go back to its original shape. So if you want to make this permanent, like I did with our larger one here, we're going to have to seal it. And that's where the glue comes in. So now I'm going to take my glue mixture, mix it up real well, and we'll start at one side and we'll just cover the entire surface with the glue mixture. And you'll notice that because it's watered down, the glue is going to go into all the nooks and crannies, all the crevices, and seal it up real well. It also is going to give your bowl a shiny appearance that will really heighten its look and make it look even nicer. When you cover the entire surface, you might want not to do the bottom right now, because if you set it down it might stick to the paper that you have. But do the entire surface, set it aside, and then you could go back to that part so it doesn't stick to your paper. So there's the end result. Now, I like this project so much, I took the rest of the pages and I made smaller circles with them. So I thought, I don't want to throw these away. What can I do with them in a creative and artistic manner? So I started to glue them together like this. And I kept gluing and gluing, and I came up with something like this. It sort of looks like a flower bouquet, but if I turn it this way, it's a bowl. It could be a wall hanging, it could be a little abstract piece of art, just something very creative, something imaginative that you can do with the leftover pieces of magazine pages that you have. Here's another little idea that you might want to do with the leftover rolls. I painted a spring scene, and instead of drawing or painting the flowers, I just took those extra rolls and I glued them on. I made sure that I used my most colorful ones for this. And here's a version, and here is another version that I came up with that actually has a little ladybug on it as well. So, out of basically using the same supplies, we came up with 3 art projects. Our paper bowl, our abstract wall hanging, and our spring flower scene. Well, boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Please tune in. We have plenty more programming scheduled for you. And this is Mr. Bob signing off for now. Be well, and as always, be creative.